Hello and welcome to Slamfire Radio episode 545. Today is March 6th, 2024. I am one of your hosts, Kyle.
I'm another host, Mo.
I'm Adriel,
I'm Dave.
and there's not random Dave,
No.
Not random.
randomer
No,
Dave,
I am Diversity Dave.
diversity Dave.
Great.
Diversity, Dave.
So, why don't we get right into what we did with guns? And, Mo, what did you get up to?
I went to an IPSC match in Joliet, Quebec at the Lonardier range. I've been there a bunch of times. Mardik and I, my friend Mardik and I drove there. The match filled up super fast, so we ended up at the 7:45 a.m. squad. So it was definitely an early start to the day. It's probably about an hour and a half from my house. Um, they set up some really great stages. It was four long stages. The highlight was they did something I had never seen yet. They had a stage with like these kind of targets in these little bunkers, and you could only see the IPSC minis through these tubes that they had set up. Let's say a 8-inch tube. For two of them, the tube was static, so it wasn't moving. So you kind of had to angle yourself to be able to see the targets inside. But for the last two, the tube was connected to a rope. So there was four targets in there, and to be able to like actually see all of them, you would have to use the rope to move to move the tube to see the target. So that was something different that I hadn't seen done before. I mean, I've seen with windows and doors and all that stuff, but not that was actually something different. Um, so it went well, and it was a lot of fun. I struggled with the steel and the cluster targets that are really close together, the clustered at distance, something I definitely have to work on. Um, so that was the match on Saturday, and then on Sunday I went with some friends to the gravel pit to do some rifle rimfire practice. So we were out there for most of the day, I think 6-7 hours. Gabriel, Greg, Will, and myself, and we set up some targets at from 50 to about 203 yards. So and the thing is, we had to pick our areas to shoot from because the place was extremely muddy. So we had to find some patches where it wasn't so terrible to obviously put down our mats and stuff. And we had a bunch of props too, and then they gave me they're more experienced shooters, so like with the PRS stuff. So they gave me some good tips and stuff about how to have the bag, like the support bag, ready, like as you're approaching the prop and stuff like that. So that was some good stuff. And the rifle I was using was doing very well, up to even to 203 yards. So it was good. We had so much fun out there, and it turned out to be a really nice day. What else? I ordered from Tenda. I ordered another 1,000 of the American Eagle 9mm 124 grain, and at the same time, I ordered for the rifle. I ordered Ely Club. So
What was the price on a 9mm?
370.
Okay,
370.
Okay.
Yeah, which
Was
is
that
tax,
the 2000?
with taxes
That's-
out.
No.
370 plus tax. Yeah, plus
Plus
tax.
tax.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'm thinking of the 223,000 rounds that I saw.
Yeah, no, the 370 is I think I saw recently Rangeview was doing if you got 2K, it ended up being 350 for 1,000. So they were doing $700 for, I don't know if it's still going
But they
on,
never do free shipping.
but they don't do
No.
free shipping. And that's where you win with Tenda, because you get the free shipping. And
Yeah.
for me, I only end up paying 5% tax like an Albertan. So
Nice.
that makes me happy. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I just did a conversion, and that's basically what I'm getting 9mm to my door for, like converting it to
Okay.
US. Like, it's what I'm shipping to my door. So
Yeah, it's for these days, it's the best. It's the best deal, and I've had good luck with that federal stuff. So I never have issues. Um, Yeah, so so I already received everything, so I'm good for ammo on both ends. Although on at our practice on Sunday, I think I already used 200 rounds of that 1,000, so I'll definitely be ordering more. Um, and then what else did I do? I renewed my CCFR membership, so good for another year. And that's it. I had a bunch more stuff, but I'll save some things for next week. How about you, Cal?
Well, it's been a busy week. We got basketball wrapping up this week, and then baseball started this week, and turned out got asked to assistant coach, so I'm gonna be helping coach baseball this year. So yeah,
Nice.
it's gonna be fun. We've had a couple practices now. But yeah, so I've continued dry firing, just trying to prepare for Superstition. The matchbook did just come out, and there's some interesting things this year. So usually, like, their slugs are basically one or two stages where you'll have your slugs. They got them spread out over, I would say, like half a dozen stages almost. It seems. Like, it's like, oh, this stage you got 2, this stage you got 3. So yeah, and then you got a whole stage, which this one's interesting because it's a buckshot slug stage. But usually at these big matches, they'll make it so that you can do your slugs at the start or at the end. Nope. You have to candy cane it, basically.
Oh, that makes it interesting.
Yeah, like they have it so like you have like a few shots of buckshot, and then there's your slugs, and then or not buckshot, it was birdshot actually. And you got a couple slugs as you change position, and then next to the shooting area, now you're back to birdshot. So yeah, but yeah, there's a few noticeable things. Only one sling stage this year. There's a couple, like there's a stage with 51 minimum of 51 rifle rounds. So yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah. Yeah, there's like a stage with 30 to 40 pistol mags, and yeah, there's some different stuff this year at Superstition, it looks like. So I can't wait to get out there and have a look and see. There will be, looking at it, it will be definitely like always stage plan heavy, and you just tend to forget from year to year just how much stage planning goes into these matches. But it seems like, yeah, there's going to be a bunch of back and forth, and there's going to be some options there for sure, because they have a lot of that's the thing, they have a lot of shotgun pistol option targets this year.
Cool.
So yeah, I planning to hit the range Friday is when I'm planning to hit the range, get some training in there Friday afternoon. Like I said, it's just, I don't know why, but it's just been a busy week. And then on Tuesday next week, I leave for Phoenix for Superstition. So yeah, I'll shoot pistol match in Lubbock on Saturday, head out to Phoenix on Tuesday. Hopefully that the house that we have, it has good Wi-Fi, so I can be on the show next week.
Oh, the
VRBO, yeah.
VRBO, yeah.
Yeah, because we basically got Canada House down there. There's a bunch of Canadians coming out. Craig, who the last couple of years we've traveled together. And then there's a bunch of guys from the Edmonton area coming down.
Yeah, I ran into a bunch of them at the gun show.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, we basically got Canada House there in Scottsdale, Arizona. And so yeah, I'll get there Tuesday. We're going to go shoot Cactus Tactical match Thursday night after walking stages. And our match starts first thing next Friday morning. So yeah, it'll be a fun couple weeks coming up here.
Cool.
So, yeah. But yeah, other than, okay, before we get to the next person, I just got to ask, because like that matchbook come out and I started looking at it and my heart started racing. Like, anybody else experience that where you see that? You're not even there. I'm a week and a half out, and every time I think about it now, it's like getting nervous and starting to get anxious about it.
Oh yeah, I'm worried about the first match. It's coming up at the end of April. I haven't shot a match since September, so I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's coming.
Yeah.
Not one bit.
Yeah, well, I
Shut up,
don't.
Adriel, you don't count.
Mr. Adriel, I don't care. I just go out there and shoot. Yeah.
I get nervous. I'm not cool like Adriel. So.
I'm just messing around.
Yeah, no, it's just like he was driving around. I was thinking about it, looking back at the stages, and it's like, why am I getting anxious? I'm like a long ways from. I haven't even seen the stage yet, but I don't know if I'm gonna make my goal. Actually, I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna do my best, but
no,
yeah.
don't be talking down to yourself already.
Yeah.
You just saw the stage. Come on, man.
I was thinking this beforehand, but anyways.
You're already making excuses.
Send those doubts away.
No, I'll do the best I can. Anyways, we'll get on to the next person. David, how about you? What did you get up to?
Oh dear God. I keep buying guns because PAL courses need more guns because I need more people to have guns during the PAL course. So that's what I did. Adriel got me a very nice Winchester 94 in 32 Winchester Special, which I found out is the parent case of 3030, which I was and I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. So I had to go and make snap caps for that by drilling a hole into the side of a case, dumping out the powder, filling up with hot glue, and then hoping it actually stays together. That's how you make a snap cap for a lever action, by the way, or else the bullet just gets pushed in, and after like 10 tries of trying to shove it into the tube magazine with the action open, which is what people that don't know how to use a lever action do.
So you inject it with hot glue?
Inject it with hot glue that will fill up the space and it will keep the bullet from being pushed into the case.
Till it's oozing out of there, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And I heat up the case with a heat gun, so the glue stays hot inside and flows and fills every crevice.
Cool.
To the madness. I did that, and then I registered for my first match of the year. It's gonna be at BTSA here in Calgary, Buffalo Target Shooters. It is an IPSC style, non-IPSC match. Rifle.
Is that
only.
that rifle match?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I am nervous because I've never done IPSC anything. So I took a look at their rule book and saw that it was a 50-page long PDF document and said, F that. I'm just going to F it. We'll do it live. We'll just do it live. I'm going to try not to DQ and not to shoot myself. That's my goal.
Biggest thing is use a safe area to pull your firearm out of this case.
Yep.
Oh.
Don't just that. Aha. Yes. Go to the safe area to pull your long gun out of the case. And yeah, so hopefully Taylor's from 3 Gun and that he's smart. So hopefully he has some rifle racks there so you can go to the safe area, pull your gun out, put it on the rifle rack, and then from there on, RO direction. Don't touch a gun till the RO directs you. Okay, come up. All that stuff, like just that's the simplest thing is remember you can't touch your gun or pull it out of its case outside of the safe area. No ammo in the safe area, and then from there on it's RO direction.
Okay. That's it. The other thing that thank you for that. I'm gonna keep that in mind. The other thing that I keep mulling over is which gun to use. So I am an ardent proponent of the RDB as a viable platform if you spend an extra $1,000 in parts to make it not crap. So I have an RDB that works, and I've used it for 3 Gun before, but it's an RDB. So I also have a Jard 180, which is the least known but possibly best 180 clone derivative variant here in Canada.
No,
What?
no,
Yeah.
not
I've got it working, man. I've got it working. It works.
The Raven's pretty good though. The Raven's got like not the first version.
No. I hard disagree.
Really? You've changed your tune on that thing.
Yeah, no, it works. And that's the thing. It works now, but I haven't put it in a match yet.
That's that sandwich together 180, isn't it?
I'm gonna go pick it up right now.
Like it's in 2 halves and it's literally bolted together.
It's an abomination to the everything, but I'll be right back.
To everything.
Maybe I'll cover a couple things that I've done while he's grabbing that.
Yeah.
He'll need a minute. He'll need a minute.
Oh no! Look, there he is.
Yeah, that didn't take long at all.
Okay, so teething issues aside, I would agree with Adriel until the issues got resolved. So what do we got over here? The JAR 180 from the tip, AR, 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 AR. Oh, what the hell is that?
No.
AR, AR, AR. Okay. It is an AR-15 bolt, gas system, barrel, stock, trigger, safety, grip, buffer tube. It's an AR-15, except in the guts. In the guts, we have a different carrier and recoil system. So it is an AR-15 bolt shoved into an AR-180 carrier and recoil system.
Is it actually an AR-15 bolt, or does it just look like it?
It is an actual AR-15 bolt.
Well, you gotta look at the looking at the locking lugs doesn't tell you. You gotta look at the breech pin.
You gotta look straight down the barrel.
I have taken the AR-15 bolt out of my AR-15 and used it in this gun.
I'm happy they at least went that way and went with an actual AR-15 bolt. That's good.
Yeah, it's 100% an AR-15 bolt, and then just this stuff here in the middle is like, ugh.
That would have helped me a couple years ago.
Yeah. The problem is the price point. It's ridiculous that it's $1,500, but it is an upper, a lower, a bolt carrier, and a bolt and charging handle and recoil assembly. It's not just a receiver like you've seen traditionally, like with the ATRS, which was before shenanigans. It was still like $1,000, but it was just a strip lower, upper, and that's it.
Oh yeah, it was a build your own, yeah.
Yeah.
The
this one gives you a recoil assembly, a bolt, a carrier, and an entire lower parts kit. So it's
the Raven builder
great.
kit is $1,300, $1,325. It's competitive.
Yeah, it's competitive. But nobody ever caught on. This never caught on. It's stupid. It's stupid for multiple reasons. Starting with the down here, the lower on this thing is just the worst. They went down. I think I was talking to somebody that knows more about this. Is they don't have a 5-axis CNC machine. They just have a 3-axis. So that's why they couldn't make like a regular lower. They just had to make the stupid clamshell thing. This should not be this. This should be just like an AR-15 lower with the top chopped off, and the rest of it should be AR-15. There is no reason for this to have this stupid magazine release, this stupid bolt hold open. Nothing. It's ridiculous.
The over insertion bolts.
Yeah, you know why they did that though. Why it's not just an AR-15 lowers, because they had to make it different, and that was their interpretation of different.
What I mean by that, it should be made like an AR-15 lower. Like just make an AR-15 lower. Like I said, just chop the top half, and it's no longer an AR-15 lower. That's it. Okay? It should have the same mag well. It should have the same safety. I mean, it should have the same mag release. I don't know why the hell they did that stuff that way. But yeah, that's why I was nervous about this, because it is now working since I got the lower warranted and the mag catch replaced, because the one that came with the lower initially, the trigger pack, the top edge was beveled, so magazines would just get pulled out. It was brilliant design by JAR to have a beveled upper edge on a mag catch. So yeah, no magazine would lock into place. And it was having some feeding issues. That's why it's got the new mag catch and an adjustable gas system. So now I can actually tune it to whatever load. So this works. This runs, and it should run, but I'm nervous. And I got so nervous, I bought a Brent 2 instead.
Well, it sounds like a better choice. So.
Yep. Yeah. I couldn't stand not knowing. So I just saw that Firearms Outlet Canada got the 16-inch brands in again, so I bought one of those. If down the road I want to get it rebarreled, the 16-inch barrel ones are the ones you want, because you can reuse the entire gas system. It's just a copy paste. Take the barrel out, put the gas system back on that barrel, and it will work. You don't need to mess around with anything. Sorry. Yeah, and then I'm maybe buying a Lee Enfield tonight because I need another course gun. So that's what I've been doing lately. And that's it, Adrian.
All right, I'll go next. Lee Enfields? Yeah, I got one of those. I got one of those the other day. Got this nice number 4 Mark 1. It's got the full length barrel on there. I could re-wood this if I wanted to. Not gonna. Use it for gonna use this guy here for a PAL gun. And it was actually really easy to disable. If anyone is curious, why don't I go through that, just because it's actually very quick and easy. Number 4 Mark 1 bolt. Take the bolt head off, unscrew at the back, the little screw there, and then the firing pin, you need to unscrew it. There's a special tool that you need to use, or vice grips. You can just grab onto it and pull it off, and out she comes. And with those out, you no longer have cocking, you no longer have a firing pin, and it's actually quite an easy gun. It'll still load and cycle ammunition. It'll eject. It'll do all that kind of stuff. And it runs very fast. So because it's not cocking or anything like that. It's just running back and forth. So it's
nice. It probably the smoothest that rifle's ever been.
It could, it can't be smoother because there's no resistance moving it back and forth.
Yeah,
no cock on close. I have done a custom mod on this one. I have spray painted the top so that when you turn it over, you don't see any more red. So because there's no S or F or anything on there. During practical gun handling, okay, yes, you can be reminded, but during a practical test, like, I'd hate for someone to fail because they didn't know the Lee Enfield number 4 Mark 1 from 1918 or whatever the hell this thing is needs to have that safety flipped back once it's loaded to
that does seem I could see that getting missed a lot.
It's a cool gun though. Otherwise, it's a factory made 5-rounder. Look at that. Factory made 5-rounder Lee Enfield magazine, so it's flush fit, and it's it's kind of neat. So pick that guy up. And then a gun show. So we did the gun show last weekend. I was there with my younger son. He was selling 3D printed parts at the gun show. So this is something he had asked. He printed some 3D printed stuff and sold some stuff to his classmates. He's like, oh man, I made some money. Like, can we do this anywhere else? I'm like, I think I've been using the 3D printer to print a ton of gun stuff. And I'm like, I think we could sell some stuff at a gun show, but I've never seen anyone selling 3D printed parts at one. Well, let's be the first. Let's try it out, right? There's we've got different economies here. Like, the actual hard cost to the parts is low, but we have to find them, design them, trim them, like do all the post processing. But I'm using child labor for that stuff. So let's, who knows how it would go. So we went to the show. Saturday there were more people, but we sold just as much on the Sunday because my kid got better with his sales pitch. He got better with people would walk by and they'd be like, there's a bunch of plastic crap on a table. I don't know what that's all about. But by Sunday we had figured out like his sales pitch to say, okay, this is all 3D printed stuff. Oh, okay. I heard that was crap. Like, it can be. But
depending what you're using it for.
Depending, like, some use cases for the 3D printing are not good, but here's what this is for. Here's what this is for. Because some of the stuff was like a 3 mag pouch for a 1022. And one thing about gun shows, we were mentioning earlier, like a lot of people cleaning out their garage, and there's those people too. But I think a lot of the people that are at gun shows are collectors. They don't actually shoot their guns a lot. They collect a lot of stuff. There's people buying like, oh, I need like the 1926 Winchester 92 in 32 special. That's one that's missing from my collection. They'll never shoot it though. And like I think that's actually a lot of the people that are those people will never be the customer for a mag pouch or something like that, right? But there were still a lot of people who were like a little bit more into like active like competition shooting and that kind of thing. And when they saw that stuff, they're like, "Oh, I have a 10-22, and that I don't have any mag pouches for it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's cheap enough. I can get it. It's cheap enough where, you know, if I don't like it, it doesn't matter, right? It's the price doesn't matter. This is something that's unique in the market, and therefore, yeah, why not? So, yeah, so we sold like enough stuff to want to do one of these things again, which was kind of cool. I picked up some parts for my number 4 build. So and that was hilarious. I went to a table and they had like all the Enfield parts. I'm like, oh, fantastic. But he had someone else running his booth because he had to go to the bathroom or grab some lunch or something like that. So I'm like, I'm looking for the screws for the mid band. And the dude's like, dude, I don't know. Like, like go through this. So I'm like looking through these plastic like fishing tackle bins and that kind of thing. And then the guy showed up. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for some screws for the mid band. He's like, here you go. I'm like,
Nice.
and some cross pins for the nose cap. He's like, yeah, here you go. I'm like, I get all this stuff like I couldn't get it on Numrich, like gunparts.com or whatever, the place you go for this stuff. No, I couldn't get it. And I got it all in one place with one guy who knew everything about Lee Enfields. Oh, so excellent. That's and then my kid bought knives and machetes and stuff with his
Nice.
selling his stuff.
Thought you were buying another 3D printer.
We're almost there. So another thing that happened is so we made a bunch of like magazine holders, and then some people were like, oh, what about the MMP 9? I'm like, God, I didn't design that. They're like, well, I'd buy them if you had them. Okay, here, take my card, email me, and we'll make some. You know, just give me the dimensions. And had a couple of other people like, oh, I had some Dylan reloading stuff. They're like, oh, I need some Lee stuff.
I was gonna say, like,
here's my card. Yeah. And we've already got emails from people looking for other stuff now, for custom stuff, which was I think a lot of people knew that there's stuff that you can make, but they don't have a 3D printer and they don't know someone that they can just like, hey, can you just go print me all this stuff? So we've been printing some stuff for some people, and it's just been like, yeah, just cheap, but still well worth it for my kid to print it, right? As a fun little hobby on the side kind of a thing. We've been printing like these are this, you put the Lee 3 turret what's the turret called? The 3-hole turret into this, or the 4-hole. We made one for that too. And it just like screws into the wall. And then when you're done with the turret, you just pop it on there. You can have like a whole rack of them, right? Which a guy asked for. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, we should print some of those. And then so I was like, hey, K31 stripper clips. I'm like, nah, stripper clips like plastic. It won't do it. It's not a good idea. But the K31s, it's not really a stripper clip. It's more of a charger. It just kind of holds the ammunition, right?
Okay.
So we made some of those because it just holds the ammunition. It's not like a like just the rear only that holds onto the rim. Like those, they need to be made out of steel. These, the factory ones, are made out of like an impregnated cardboard bullshit thing with like a little bit of steel at the bottom. And the plastic ones are just fine for a K31. And they're hard to find.
That's looks similar to the loaders for the stripper clips for like an AR mag or something.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're open on one side there, so you load in like your 6 rounds and pop in your 6 rounds into your K31. So someone asked me about those. I'm like, yeah, okay. So we started printing some of those and kind of getting them going. And I think there are other 3D printing, like we'll do your custom stuff on Etsy and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they don't know guns, and they don't like have this, like they don't have a K31 to try it in. They don't have like a Lee 4-die or 3-die holder to see like, is this going to structurally hold this thing, to know the material and whatnot to do it in. So I think we got that advantage. You can find a lot of the stuff on Thingiverse, but sometimes some of the stuff needs to be customized to better fit what someone needs. And my kid's doing all the mods. Like every once in a while, I'll kick the printer on and put another part through. But he's doing all the mods to them and testing it and that kind of thing. And it's been really interesting. So right now we're printing up a bunch of stuff for people who are asking for it. Yeah, it's good. There's a bunch of like reloading. There's a bunch of tiny little quality of life things that you can.
Oh yeah.
I can print like a tiny little dial, and it's like the Dylan, for example. It's got a on the powder adjuster. It's a nut.
Yep.
And it's like, which way is up or which way is down? I don't know. Hopefully you can remember.
Or you need the wrench. So I had the piece that fit over the bolt for your powder adjust. That was just a nice big knob. You could just adjust it by hand.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised those didn't sell more because that is such a pain in the ass.
I've seen the roller guides, the roller index, but the one I got wasn't quite 100% quite right. It would not maintain its position on the press. But then the one I absolutely loved was the your primer tube holder that mounted up to your case feeder, and you just hang your powder tubes, or you're not your powder tubes, or your primer tubes up on your case feeder.
See, I was trying to sell like wall mounted primer tube holders. Not a lot of sales for that, but
I like it.
Looking at your space to recognize like, oh, wait a minute, I have wall space and I could fit 8 primer tubes right there, and they don't need to be in a drawer or something.
But when it's up on your case feeder, it's right there. So when your alarm goes off, it's boom, done. Put that off to the side. You got 500 primers right up there, or however big you decide to make it.
More stuff to print. More stuff to print. Yeah. We're working on a big custom order right now, so we're going to do that first, and then we're going to get to more of that stuff. But yeah, it was encouraging. So my kid got to practice his sales skills and pitch everyone real hard, which he did gladly because he loves to grind people on it. And like some people will be like, "Can't you see this kid's trying to sell this stuff? Like you should buy something from." They're pressuring each other.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, the people behind us were like helping up. They sold a couple of 1022 mags. And they're like, oh, and this kid over here, he's selling 1022 mag pouches. You should buy one of them. Yeah,
nice.
So yeah, we had a great time. I'm looking forward to the next one where I left him alone for over half the time, and he was selling stuff.
Nice.
We got like a stripe, no, not a stripe, square like little.
Oh yeah,
reader here for payments and that kind of thing. Most people carried cash, but it's nice to have one of those too. Oh, don't have cash on me. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I take credit card.
Yeah, somehow. Yeah. I guess I have no excuse not to finish my number 4 now because I finally got the weird parts that like who has a screw for the mid band. I do now, so
yeah.
I guess I have to finish it.
Yeah.
I got some big bad cases from Cabela's. So I got the Nanook case, their 995, which is quite big. It's the biggest one they sell because I want to carry 5 guns per case. 5 guns is a full set of guns for a PAL course, right? And then I saw Cabela's had some that were not as good, but were also waterproof and dirt proof and all that kind of stuff for $200. So I bought a couple of those, and they're pick and pull foam, and I picked and pulled the foam so I can fit the guns vertically in there, and I'm liking it. So
yeah,
I am currently filling those with course guns, and I'm currently buying more course guns. Oh, so at the gun show, my neighbor Nate, he got a Savage 99, and so for course guns, lever actions. Where do you get a good lever action that's reliable? So 22 lever actions chew up the dummies too fast. They're not a great option for a course gun. So most people are using like really clapped out Winchester 94s and that kind of thing. They're still $700. My neighbor got a Savage 99 for $425. And I'm like, okay, well, can you disable it? And the guy's like, yeah, the guy said I could disable it like pretty easily. I'm like, oh God, well, let's find out. Yeah, it's you can disable it. You can pull that firing pin out of there. It's a striker fired setup, and it's got that old timey like I had to custom make a couple of flat screwdriver bits to fit some of the screws on that stupid thing because it's like turn of the century and custom flatheads are all the rage back then. But yeah, we got it apart and disabled it. I'm like, I have to buy one of these. because I need a lever for my second kit. So I bought one. A guy from Fort Mac had one on sale. 303 Savage. So I'm gonna have to make some custom ammo because A-Zoom does not make snap caps. 303 Savage. But yeah, so I got that. I got the Lee Enfield 303, and I need a semi-auto. Now for a semi-auto, those aren't quite as hard on the ammo, so I got a Winchester Wildcat from Calgary Shooting Center. They had a good price on them, and I believe I can take the firing pin out and still have it work. And if not, it was cheap enough, I will grind it off if I have to.
Yeah.
An advantage being there, it has a last shot bolt hold open, so it'll keep the bolt open when it's empty. And yeah, let's see. Tony's mentioning use the Lee Call It crimp and crank on that crimp. Yeah, I'm gonna get some. I think I have some 30 cal bullets with a crimp on it, so I will. I'll use those. That you wouldn't say the bullet has a crimp. The bullet has cannular. The bullet has a cannular to crimp onto. But yeah, so that'll round out my second kit, and then I'm probably going to get a couple more. I'm waiting to see what falls into my lap. I was talking to a guy about $100 Mauser. That might be it. Needed a floor plate and some other crap on there, but I might be able to get that for cheap. And then this weekend I have a Sherwood Park 3-gun match. That'll be me, a couple of buddies, and my oldest is going to come to that one as well.
Nice.
So
is this the one that you were gonna MD?
I am MDing this one. Every stage is nut themed.
Oh, yeah.
There's acorn. There's an acorn drill. I'm not gonna. So it's still too snowy out here to do like somersaults and that kind of bullshit in the snow. So I'm not gonna do that. But I am gonna feature some elements of that particular clip in the stage. And then I can't give away the rest of them. For the rest of them, you'll have to, unfortunately, go to the match and see what the other nut themed stages are.
Cashews,
Well, see, that is impossible for me to make it up there for that match.
Well, I'll tell you after the show starts.
All right, fine.
It's going to be good though. It's going to be a fun little match for and thankfully the weather's going to let up. It was minus 30 today. It was minus 30 in March. And
not good.
it's going to be 0 on Saturday. So getting right up there. Getting right up there.
Wow.
Yeah, huge difference. All right, let's get on to upcoming events.
Yeah. And for upcoming events, Adriel just mentioned this weekend is a 3-gun match at Sherwood Park Fish and Game Association. And NRL 2020 or NRL 22 Canada has been continuing releasing dates. So go on Practice Score, check it out. There are a ton of dates all around for NRL 22 Canada. The Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show is March 14th to 17th. And the next Hunting Gear Guy Firearms Training PAL course is March 23rd. And you are muted, Adriel.
So that's a shameless self-plug. Just sneaking that in.
Yeah. If you want in on that course, you can email the show or email Hunting Gear Guy and get in on that.
Find me on Facebook, text me.
Yeah.
Smoke signals work too.
Yeah. Probably works better than writing the show. Just get a hold of Hunting Gear Guy or Adriel himself.
Yeah, you can find me.
Yeah. And then we'll get into the news. And New Zealand appears to be reconsidering their gun bans. Seems like they might have actually figured out that they don't work.
Yeah.
When they have, 1%? What was it? I didn't open up the article. What
Their crimes have been going up.
Yeah.
Since putting that law in, their crimes have all gone up.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah. And they didn't have a high success rate in like the buyback anyways.
Compliance was really low. Yeah. Indeed, it was. But Jacinda Ardern was the one that brought that in. Her party got smashed at the polls, and now there's some other parties in charge, and they've decided that this wasn't worth it.
Didn't do what they wanted to do.
No.
Mhm.
Bye loopy lefty. So
Well, and you got to think like this is New Zealand. The same thing as Australia, out in the middle of the ocean. It's not like it shares thousands of miles of border with another country.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Fantastic.
it's great to see a government actually like, hey, that didn't work. Maybe we need to reconsider some things. Apparently, Tom Green talked about some gun stuff on Joe Rogan's podcast, and besides the basics, I haven't listened to this yet.
I did.
I
Just put it on.
No.
So Tom Green's a comedian from who's famous in the 90s or early 2000s. That's it.
Some call him a comedian. Yeah.
He's been living in a cabin in the woods is I think the colloquial term for it. And anyways, has gotten into like rugged individualism, and he went through his PAL course somewhat recently because all that stuff when he was talking about it was like bang on, like it had just been there. But beyond that, most of the stuff he said was wrong.
Yeah,
but he was still like he was trying.
So he went through his PAL course. That stuff stuck. He was right on that stuff, and then took from mainstream media for everything else.
More or less, yeah. There was some things where it was like, oh, that was really good. You know what? Maybe it was from his PAL course because there's a lot of FUD lore. Maybe it was, but or maybe it was from afterwards. But no, it was good to hear someone talking about it who was at least experiencing it, not an expert, but experiencing it. So
yeah, it sucks that they're spreading crap around, but it is cool to see that they're getting into it and trying to learn and experience. Absolutely.
I think that's part and parcel from like a podcast like that is you're going to get some good, you're going to get some bad, but you're going to get someone who's like giving their earnest opinion over a long period of time. So you're going to get some incorrect.
Oh yeah, that long form where it's just, okay, we're just talking. Yeah.
We don't do that, do we?
No. We don't have like 4 or 5 hour long podcasts.
Well, we get pretty long.
Yeah, we get pretty long. Yeah, like
tonight might hit 4 hours.
Tonight might. No, it's not gonna hit 4 hours.
No joke.
Maybe 3. No. Besides the cancellation of free speech in Canada, we'll get into new gun stuff. And new gun stuff is brought to you by Bullseye North. Need a new boomstick? Bullseye North is Canada's shooting superstore and a proud supporter of the CCFR, with a wide selection of guns and top trending gear for any shooter. They got free shipping for over $250, some exclusions apply, and they now have, well, they've had it for a bit, but $17 flat rate shipping for orders below $250. You can subscribe to their weekly newsletter to get first access to the hottest deals. And did we pick a new one, or are we going to highlight the one that we're
going to go with that one again? You guys are silly. You need to be buying. They have the giant. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, they got.
Get off my high horse.
Apparently, there was 147,000 or 147 1,000 pack primers available last week. So far, there is only 117. So in the last week, only 30 packs of 1,000 primers got sold for $92.
It's a hell of a deal. Small pistol primers for $93 per 1,000.
Yeah. Like, get on it. Even, now, even in nowadays prices, the 110 isn't even horrible. But the $93, oh yeah, 93 is better. They did update when the sale ends, though, because I believe last week we said it ended March 27th. They updated it ends tonight, March 6th. So after tonight, it's going to be $110 1,000. But I mean, they got them. Everyone's crying for small pistol primers. They got them.
Nice.
Ginex, right?
That's how I pronounce it. It might be right. It might be wrong.
I see Gin. I call it Ginex.
I call it Gen X too.
Gen X. Gen X sounds cool. That's probably right.
Ginex just sounds wrong. I don't know.
It does. It just starts you off on the wrong foot.
It reminds me of other words. I don't.
Words that rhyme with fun.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, Angel, take it
Ask Arms.
away.
Ask is selling AR-15 upper forgings. Woo!
Okay, I gotta ask, $42 to $400.
It's quite a range.
So, do you want a single or do you want a 10-pack?
Oh,
The 10-pack.
oh.
Oh.
So I saved $20 by buying 10.
Why would you want 10 AR-15 upper forgings?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a good question. One that I've been pondering for recent years.
Why have one when you could have 10?
I mean,
Paperweights. I got so much paper that's blowing around this place. I need like paperweights everywhere.
yeah,
Anyways, Delask had that, and I thought it was spicy.
gotta do something with them, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Dante's got the Strike Eagle 1 to 6 on sale promo for $3.99. That's pretty cheap for that. Dominion Outdoors has their AGS 3.0 annealers on sale on their website. If you're into PRS stuff, you want to anneal a bunch of ammo, $3.99.
So maybe it's just me. That doesn't seem too bad. What do the other annealers go for?
They vary. Like some of them are like a wall mount or like a vertical kind of a thing. They have like very few moving parts. This one looks like it's horizontal, and it looks like it would peel them off the back side there. That looks like it would pull them off there.
Yeah, but you have to. Okay, yeah, and you'd have to add the case to every case in manually. Where I like the one that rotates, that it just drops in. And
but that requires a specific size drum. Drum.
Sure.
Like, so whereas this one, you can get different inserts. So they have an insert for 223, one for 308, and one for 0.532 base. I don't know what that is for. And then use without inserts with 338 and the like. So, and they have additional custom inserts. So you could use this for multiple cartridges, where I think those drum ones, you got to make sure the drum cutout is correct and that kind of thing. So it's not quite as flexible, I guess, for other sizes.
Okay. Yeah, Tony's saying he thinks the amp is like $2,000 US, but
what's an amp?
I think that's one of the other annealers out there. That might be like the drum style annealer that you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it.
I've seen those for cheaper. They also use a torch. Anywho. That's the AGS. Misty Mountain Supply is moving, so everything's 15% off. They don't want to move so much stuff, so buy some Milsurp stuff from Misty Mountain.
Where are they moving to?
Well, I don't know. I didn't get that far.
Unless
I'm interested in the sale, not the story.
Yeah.
I want the discounts.
Okay, back to the annealers. I just did a quick search. The Mark II DB annealer from AMP, Annealing Made Perfect, is $1,675 including shipping, US. So $400 for annealer is not bad at all.
Okay, X Reload. Oh, there's another horizontal one. There's one. Okay, that one's $600. I just saw one. Echo annealing machine, $335. So this is the other one that I know of.
I've seen those ones. Yeah,
right. But this is not configurable. This is like made for one kind of cartridge. It says for 223 caliber up to 338. But how do you change between them?
Oh, and I pulled up the amp, and yeah, like you're doing every case by hand by once. Like,
is it induction heating?
Stop sharing, and I'll share my screen here.
Okay.
Like, you see how
that's induction annealing. That's why it's not.
Okay.
It's not propane. Maybe it detects the heat off of the thing.
Maybe it's got the full screen there and everything, but it's out of stock, and it's like $1,700 US.
Mm-hmm. So not cheap. What? You can get an annealer parts kit? $92. Holy crap! It's got. Let me share this. This is creative. There's a whole bunch of 3D printed. Some Etsy person is selling a brass annealer thing for $92.
Nice.
And most of it is 3D printed.
That's
There's
awesome.
some
Like, well,
skateboard bearings there.
have
There's
you
some
seen the
3D
3D
printed-
printers that are 3D printed 3D printers?
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
one. It
Yeah.
sucked. It was terrible.
Yes, mine was too, but yeah, I've
The
seen some that
beam-
actually work good, but
Yeah, the not rep, but one of the other ones that's popular these days.
Prusa was
Prusa,
good.
that's it.
Yeah.
Prusa 3D prints some of their stuff.
Yeah.
Anywho, $92. That's
Yeah.
parts kit only with centering with arm.
Now,
$92 for an
like
annealer.
they're 3D printing the drum and everything too. So I'm wondering.
No. The drum's steel. Look at this thing.
Oh, okay.
All the other parts are plastic. And look at that torch they're using.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the only steel part that they're using is some like basin or something like that.
Yeah.
Anywho, let's get off
Yeah.
a kneeler step. Okay, where were we?
Misty Mountain was moving, and then you moved on. Yeah.
Oh, I see something I need to buy. I have a Glock 34. The lower on a Glock 34 is the same as Glock 17.
Yep.
I Run Guns is selling a complete upper slide assembly with optics ready for $299 USD.
That's
gonna be
not bad.
That's amazing. I don't know why that's so cheap. I haven't heard of Cam Tactical. Is this
Well,
like
for one, it's an
basement brand?
Well, for one, it's an RMR cut, not MOS. So it is an RMR cut, but
Okay. I can get Holsons that are
$300, like $300. Yeah, that's for a.
That's 405 Canadian.
That's not bad.
Mm-hmm. Optic ready
I
thread.
mean, there's slides that sell for that.
Yeah.
Like that's barrel everything. That you just slap that on and go.
Good to go.
Put a red dot on there. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
I may have to buy one of those.
Go for it.
That price is okay. So
And it's
like
Glock 17 threaded. So
do I get the threaded barrel or flush barrel?
I would
Probably
always go
threaded,
threaded.
right? Yeah.
Threaded is options.
Put a break on there.
Yep.
Neat. I haven't seen Weatherby Vanguards for very cheap. They used to be like a really decent value priced rifle. Victory Ridge Sports has them on sale right now for $750, which is way cheaper than they have been in the past. So interesting.
Yeah.
They're in 243, 30-06, and 308. And haven't
Nice.
seen anything that cheap for a while.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Adriel, for finding those, and we'll get on to the main topic.
All right, for our main topic, we've got Dave from Foothills Firearms Training. We're going to talk about training PAL and RPALs at scale. We've had Dave on before to talk about you becoming a PAL or RPAL instructor, but I think, from talking to a lot of PAL and RPAL instructors, I think there's a lot of guys out there who instruct 1 or 2 courses a year, and then that's it. They don't really do it at volume. Maybe they just couldn't connect on one of the crucial parts. So I thought we'd get Dave on. Dave does this as his full-time gig. This is his full-time job, and he's got some tips, I guess, on how to do this. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
Good to be back. Good to be back. So you do this thing as your full-time gig, which means you're teaching how many classes a month, a week, a day, an hour?
I have regularly scheduled courses in Calgary twice a month for non-restricted and restricted courses. And I also provide coverage to Cochrane because apparently there's nobody in Cochrane that teaches. Now, Cochrane is a smaller community northwest of Calgary. It's still sizable. It's a town in a city. Actually, right when I got started, a business contacted me and said, "Hey, can you teach this class for us? Because we keep having people ask us about it." And I said there should be people covering Cochrane because the instructor list for Southern Alberta has several entries for that. And just as Adriel said, There may very well be people teaching in that area, but they'll teach a course a year. So yeah,
And it might
I
actually be
do.
hard to find. You might not
Yeah,
even know where it is or
yeah.
when it's
If you
going
somehow
on.
manage to find that list on the Alberta Hunter Education Instructor Association website, which has a list of all the instructors in the province of Alberta, download that list, which is just a big fat PDF document. They just drop that on your lap and say, "Have fun." You can cold call people, and well, from speaking with clients, it goes something like this: they call an instructor and they won't pick up. That's the usual. They won't pick
Mhm.
up. If they pick up, they're rude. If they pick up and aren't rude, they are very brief and say that they've already taught a class for the year, so they don't have to do anything else. So sorry, we're not
Wow.
offering anything, and so that's the threshold that I have to beat. I have to use complete sentences with proper English and be prompt with my replies, and that's why I'm doing well.
Nice.
And have regularly scheduled courses.
And have regularly scheduled courses. Yeah.
Yeah, because
On
I'm on
top of
that list
those,
now, and I'm
yeah,
getting calls from. I can tell when I get a call from the list because they don't know anything about who I am or anything. They're just all
yeah,
they know is my name. Yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, that's twice a month in Calgary, once a month in Cochrane, and then I fill the time in between with private courses. I
Mhm.
service theoretically, I service all of Alberta, and I've had inquiries from as far north as Whitecourt. So I gave a guy a quote for, hey, how much is it to me to drive all the way up to Whitecourt from Calgary and teach a class? Um, they would have to pay for mileage, so it was a high quote.
Mhm.
And I've done classes in Canmore, Red Deer, Okotoks, um, basically all the little communities in between that area. Just
Mhm.
yeah, little classes, 1 person, 2 person, 20 people. One of my favorite ones was a church group. I had
Nice.
I had a pastor call me. Yeah, I have my pal, but can you teach my flock? Yeah, yeah, I can do
Whole
that.
flock. Wow.
The whole flock, 30 people in the basement of a church with a pile of guns.
Nice.
Well, you say that,
Nice.
and a buddy of mine who's also a listener, he did one in Lloyd, and it was the same deal, like church with a pile of people, like way more than I thought, or he thought he was going to get for it. I guess some of those, like, yeah, little communities have a bunch of people that want to get their licenses. And the other thing that I think is happening as well is this is thanks to Ian Runkle. He put out his video where he made the case why your wife needs to have her license, why your kids need to have their licenses.
Mm-hmm.
And now everyone's doing that, right? I did that because of that. Like, I got my wife and
Yeah,
kids
my
too.
wife's got her license.
Mm-hmm.
Adriel is referring to a particular methodology that some police forces have done, which is, come up to the door, ask the wife, can we see the guns? And they come into the home, and the wife says, well, they're in that safe. And the officer asks to see the guns. So she goes and fetches the key, opens the safe, and arrests the wife on the spot for possession of a firearm without a firearms license,
Mm-hmm.
which
That's
is,
supposed to give them access.
yeah, it's kind of
Wow.
greasy, but it is something that they've done according to Mr. Runkle. And so, yeah, don't do that. Don't let the police into your home. And if you can, get your wife and other folk their licenses so they're not charged in greasy ways.
Oh, it opens up some other, like, if you need to drop off a gun into Canada Post or something like that, you can get the wife to do it if she's got her license
True,
and
true.
what's in the box, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and other kind of shipping and receiving related duties.
yeah,
If you buy and sell a lot of guns, it's going to happen, right?
yeah. It's true, and so yeah. To answer your earlier question, I would say that I am probably teaching maybe a dozen non-restricted courses a month, and about half of that in restricteds.
Wow, that's still quite a bit.
Wow.
And then how
Yeah,
big's your average class? Like, so I find that 8 is kind of like a sweet spot for a single instructor. 12 is way
you're
too
right
many
on.
just from testing and
Right
that
on.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. So what are you just doing small classes then?
It's basically the public courses. I will fill as much as possible while maintaining a ratio I've deemed suitable. As Adriel kind of indicated, you basically have to maintain a ratio of 12-1. That is 12 students per instructor. And it's kind of odd because there is no other guideline past 12. So you theoretically could teach an unlimited amount of people as long as there were 2 instructors present, which is not great if you can imagine 30 people being taught by 2 people. So personally,
the teaching part's fine. It's
the teaching is fine. It's what I'm going to
testing.
get to here. Yeah. The what ends up happening is handling. Handling is the time that the students will get to just spend with the guns. You want to maximize the amount of time that they spend with the guns and the amount of instructing that they receive while handling the guns. 2 pairs of eyeballs ain't enough for more than like 13, 14 people. Like that's kind of the ratio that I manage. I need an instructor per 8 people. And ideally, if the ratio is less than that, that gives you a higher quality of service that you're providing. Because at the end of the day, this is just a service we are providing. We're service providers. We deliver material in people's heads, and you deliver that material by getting more people to tell the people taking in the information if they're doing things right or if they're doing things wrong. So as Adriel said, yeah, like more than 8 people, you need another guy. You need another guy. And even with the restricted, it's actually a little bit more, because the restricted course is more condensed, and you kind of bring in the knowledge from the non-restricted into the restricted, or at least you're supposed to. You don't have as much time to front load the information into people's heads. So I actually prefer like a 6-to-1 ratio for the restricted. Like I need more time with a student in the restricted course than I need with the non-restricted, because they have a longer time to like absorb the information. Yeah, that would be that.
And not only time with the guns and that kind of thing, but the practical testing at the end of the day, because you have this minimum amount of time you have to do instruction for, which is quite long, and then you have testing. Theoretical, people breeze through it, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever.
I would pause there. People can breeze through the theoretical, because basically I have 2 rules for being successful in the courses. Number 1 is, are you awake? If the student is awake, that's half the battle. Okay. The second one is, are you taking notes? If the student is paying attention and taking notes, they're Gucci. They're like 90% of the way there. So those people that are awake and taking notes, most of the time, as Adriel said, they'll just go right through go right through the written. It's a 50 question multiple choice true and false exam designed for 12-year-olds. So it shouldn't take you more than a few minutes. However, the RCMP allots students 3 hours to write down the written exam. And I have seen an hour and a half.
Wow.
Even at that, wow. I mean, I can see how there are some people that take an hour and a half, but still.
They would be overthinking every question.
Well, I like how you said the first part was staying awake, because, yeah, I feel like that would be the hardest part, is staying awake through the course. Like, it doesn't matter the instructor, it's just the material is
I take pride in having been through enough of these type of courses in my previous employment that I know what a bad instructor will do to a class like this, which is make you want to rip out your freaking eyeballs.
Yeah.
So I used to be a swimming instructor and a lifeguard, so I had to take courses mandatory every year, back to back to back, the same topic over and over again. And so if you have the person that reads off of the page while maintaining a monotone voice for approximately 10 hours, you will have people ripping out their eyeballs.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm basically just jumping on the stage like a monkey, continuously jumping around, modulating my voice, eye contact. That's just really basic public speaking, but doesn't come naturally to some folk. Like I know some instructors that went through my course, and they've had to have conversations with those instructors, going like, you can't just read the book for 8 hours, man. You can't.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about theory. The big bottleneck I found, if you have too many students for too few instructors, is the practical testing. So practical testing is about 15 minutes a student, and if you have, let's say you had those 12 students, Well, there's 3 hours. There's 3 hours of
Yeah.
testing.
And that
just for
is
that one
if it's
instructor.
an average
Mhm.
student that will take 50 minutes to get through the practical exam. If you have somebody that comes in with some knowledge, or the keeners that paid attention to the class and watch the videos, for example, that I have on my website, Foothills Firearms Training, which is just literally axe and prove of every type of gun. People that
Mhm.
have done that, maybe sub 10 minutes. Let's say sub 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh dear God, if somebody comes in and they weren't paying attention and they managed to squeak through the written and get to the practical, where's my bag of stuff? Okay, so I have brought some props. Here's the your box standard snap caps, and here is not your box standard pump action shotgun. Okay,
Oh, they all
so
look that way, don't they?
yeah, so axe and prove, observe the chamber, verify the feeding path, examine the bore. Remember that? Anyways,
Yeah.
this is what students will do. Hey, let's load this gun. For the viewers, for the listeners, I am now putting a shell into the chamber of a pump action shotgun, and I'm gonna
And
put
then one on the
another shell
lifter.
right behind the first one, and let's try to close the action. Oh no! And a student will perform this exact series of actions for 10 minutes uninterrupted.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I believe it.
Oh boy.
The one that
back
I
inside,
got
and
was
back inside, and oh, why is this not working? 10 minutes of that nonstop. You will sit there wanting to rip your eyeballs out, watching this person not load the gun correctly.
It's a good opportunity to teach them a ghost load, though.
That would be. It would be. It would be.
Dave. The
Can you
one I
ghost load
got
an
was
870?
putting one in the chamber, closing it, putting one in the tube, and then racking it, and then racking
Yep.
one on the ground, and then picking
Yep.
that one up and putting it in the tube and racking it, and
Racking
throwing another one on the ground.
Yeah.
The amount of people who
and over.
The amount of people with a semi-auto just continue racking their bolt and instead of hitting the shell drop.
That is why I don't use semi-auto shotguns on the class. So the
They're
class requires you
complicated.
to have a pump action firearm, a bolt action firearm, a brake action firearm, a lever action firearm, and a semi-automatic firearm. And I have tried. I have tried to use a semi-auto shotgun in class, and that it basically requires an entirely different manual of arms than semi-automatic rifles. So that is adding
Oh yeah.
20% extra to the handling knowledge that the student needs to take in. That's a whole different gun. Not dealing with it. Not going to be in the class. It'll be a semi-automatic rifle that feeds from detachable box magazines that has a last round bolt hold open, because that gun will keep the student in a nice, neat box. I know that if I pull on the thing on the side of the thing, and if the thing stays open, bada bing, bada boom, you're halfway there.
Yeah. It's got to be simple. No,
Yeah.
nothing too weird. Even the Mausers with the wing safety, I'm a little bit worried about. But all it is just the wing safety. I spray painted them.
You did, and I
painted
love
the
it, and I
little
might
wing.
actually steal that. I might actually
Mhm.
steal that, because that's a really nice little. It's visual, and that's the thing. You have to
There's-
draw their attention to a million different things. You have to condense basic safety as well as a degree of firearms handling proficiency into the brain of someone that has either knowledge from before, and I will get to that in a second, or nothing at all, which is what I prefer. And so people like, I actually sometimes suggest people take the 2-day classes that I offer in Cochrane over the 1-day courses that I offer in Calgary, because some people literally cannot absorb all of that stuff in just one 9-hour, 10-hour day.
Mhm.
It's just too much. Okay. Especially if you have like a condition or a learning difficulty. I've had people come in and it's like, yeah, after struggling through the written and after struggling through the practical exam, they go, like, oh yeah, I have a learning disability. Everything reads backwards to me. And I go, that would have been something good to know about 9 hours ago, not after the tests and spending an hour doing tests with you. but that's fine. It is what it is. And that's
So
the thing. Oh, sorry.
Well, I got a question on, like, you touched on, like, you got to keep in mind that these are people, majority of people are people who have really never handled firearms, or never mind, just not proficient with them. How do you go about, like, teaching someone who's never touched a firearm in their life how to do the axe improve, or how to just get through the manual of arms on that?
Fair
I
question.
mean, like you said, you only have a short portion of the day to do that in.
Yeah. Repetition is key, and then breaking it down into bite-sized chunks. So one thing that Adriel wanted to do when he first started as an instructor is like, oh yeah, I wanna do all the axe improve right away, and then have them do the axe improve with every single gun right away. And it's like, you do the axe improve of one gun, then you do the axe improve of another gun entirely. And then you could theoretically just do each type of gun individually with the person once. That would be the perfect situation. Axe improve with one gun, here's the gun, axe improve it. Axe improve with a second gun, here you go, axe improve it. But that would take ages, especially with like 20 people in the room. So what I do is, axe improve gets repeated repeatedly every single time. Basically, we change from one chapter to the other one. We're going to go ahead again, those axe improve things. I give them visual, auditory, oh God, what is the other learners? Tactile, all those different types of learners. I give them something else to look at, something else to listen to, something else to do. Everything is kinetic or auditory or visual, to try and get all those different things into different minds. And I prefer people with zero training.
Yeah. And just a keener who's got zero training is always easier.
Because
no
they're
bad,
gonna
no
do
bad habits.
No bad habits. So one of the things that I say at the beginning of the class is, if you have prior experience with firearms, that is great, and I want you to use that out in the real world, not in the classroom. Okay? In this classroom, you're gonna focus on the presentation. You're gonna focus on the textbook. You're gonna focus on what's coming out of my mouth, because you're not gonna be tested on what you already know. You're gonna be tested on what we're talking about today. Okay? So focus on the class. Hey, how you doing, Forge Turbo? I hate you so much. Thank you. We have a listener says that's why you hate me, David, and this, I do hate you.
Yeah, that's Tony. I think he just recently took his RPAL with you.
Yes, he did. He's actually borrowing 2 handguns from me. So yeah, that's another benefit of doing the class with me. I have buckets of handguns to lend out. Anyways.
Buckets.
So coming back to the bulk part, so we mentioned like you need multiple instructors.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get these guys? How do you get other instructors involved? What's the deal?
Networking, yay, networking. So, where do you network for instructors? AHIA or whatever organization manages instructors in the province you reside in, they're going to have ways of contacting other people. You can also cold call other instructors and say, hey, I need help. Can you help me? I'll throw some bucks your way. I've done that with a couple of people. Some other people have done that for me. And I've gone and I've helped out other instructors, especially once you create that network. I have a couple of instructors that borrow guns from me, because my kits are nicer than the kits that are available to other instructors through the organizations. I like to have guns that are in functional shape, which is a pretty low bar. But yeah, my stuff works. In some other situations, it may not. That's it. Networking through the agency that manages the instructors. Another one is helping out during trade shows or going to trade shows. Gun shows, yeah. Remember, gun shows for the people under 25? That's still a thing, by the way. You can go to a gun show and find things out there that you didn't see or have ever looked at before, and they are instructors. I'm going to be attending my first gun show as a business, just coming up here at the end of March, and the Calgary Easter Gun Show. I'm going to have tables set up. I'm going to have the course guns. Maybe I have some guns to sell if I want to, get that
money.
gun show, get gun show premium,
I'm confused. You're saying there's more at gun shows than just people cleaning out their garages?
Or selling Nazi memorabilia? That's right.
Yeah.
The guy with a little bit too many things from the Nazi regime, just a tiny bit more.
A little too authentic. No.
Yeah, like really keen. Like there's keen, and then there's like, I am so excited to show you this.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So networking with other instructors.
networking.
Yeah.
The big one is new instructor courses. They are very few and far in between, at least here in Alberta. When a new instructor finally gets into a course, which I've talked about in the previous episode that I was featured in, I believe, it's a whole process. It takes ages, and once you get in, you are given the certification and then told, go forth and spread your knowledge all over people's faces. Okay, and it's hard to do. Okay. With my background in teaching and instructing, it was tough for me to get that started. So for the first year that I had my certification, I did nothing with it except go to the occasional public course that the hunter associations would hold, and just volunteer for testing. I wouldn't teach during the classes. I would just help with testing, and that's it. That's a good start. Like, and that's what I do for instructors that come work for me, is that they're just going to test. They're just going to watch people during handling. If they want to dip their toe into teaching, grab a chapter, teach it to your cat, teach it to your wife, teach it to your kid, teach it to your buddy at the bar. And then when you have that practice, you can come into the class, deliver the material, and I will pick up anything that you may have left off at the end of the chapter and throw it in there to make sure that everybody's got the knowledge that they need to take out of the chapter. So yeah, just new instructor courses. Those are a gold mine. I have grabbed 3 or 4 instructors out of those courses that are still working for me.
Yeah. Another Kelly was just mentioning, I'd love to see a focus on instructors who aren't misogynistic. I'm sure Dave's fabulous. One took my course as a lone female. This wasn't in your course. I was tasked with handing out forms, collecting tests, general tidying, and making coffee.
Wow.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible,
Okay.
but that's that older generation, and the I'm not making excuses for them. That's the older generation.
Yeah,
Kelly,
that's...
I am very sorry that was something that you had to experience, and that instructor was in fact an asshole. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
just those older guys who
no.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I've run into them myself. As my instructor, great guy. He did spread a tiny bit of FUD lore that actually snuck into my courses. So for like the first year or so when I was teaching, I would tell people that they have to transport restricted firearms, right? They would transport the restricted firearms unloaded with a trigger lock and ammunition in a container that's allowed, right? You can have ammunition in that container while it's being transported. You don't have to if you don't want to, but as long as the gun is unloaded and trigger locked in a difficult to break into lock container that's locked, you can transport ammunition in there. But if you get home, you have to take the ammunition out because it can't stay in the container. Now, is that right? So for the first year, I taught that. And then somebody called me out and it's like, no, you can keep the ammunition in the container when you get home as long as the gun is difficult to, as long as the gun is unloaded, trigger locked, and difficult to break into lock container.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's not right. I know that this is not right. You have to take the ammo out. And somebody links me the regulations. That's always the beautiful part. Just throw the regulations right at their face. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, some people out there are being extra careful while storing restricted firearms in their home in portable containers. But yeah, I had to change that. And I've had instructors that have asked to help me be overtly racist when talking to me privately. It's like, hey, you know those people that just took the class? I wonder what they're gonna get up to. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah. It's like, are you saying what I think you are saying? It's like,
not so subtly.
Thankfully, the younger trainers are supplanting the older trainers who are not set up to serve the people who are taking the course.
Yeah,
whether they be females, whether they be of people who are new to Canada, whatever.
And just this past weekend, something truly remarkable that I have yet to see again, and hopefully I will see again, happened. I had an entirely female class.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was 21 ladies from from a post-secondary education that just got together and got it done. And
Nice.
it was
That is
awesome.
amazing.
It was an awesome class because you can just tell I love the flair, and it was fabulous that entire class. Just lovely.
Bet you they
All
crushed the
kinds.
theoreticals, right?
Oh yeah. Just
They probably paid
chewed it up.
attention. They probably
Yeah.
took notes, and they came
Oh
to the
yeah.
theory, and they probably just ran it over.
I mean, at this point, they've been a professional student for over, 15 years. They're coming in from
Yeah.
a post-secondary setting where you're
Mm-hmm.
expected to, keep up. The instructor is
Yep.
gonna not handhold you here. So if he's feeding you something, you better write it down. And yeah, though the ladies they did awesome. Really good energy throughout the entire class. And actually, one of them was the one that organized it. She's the one that reached out to me and is like, "Hey, I have all these people here in my program, and they all want to get this done. Can you do this?" And I was like, "Let's go, And we just did it. It was gonna be
Nice.
it was gonna be like
Great.
35 people, but a couple of people dropped out. Still,
Mhm.
21 people, all girls. Yeah, that was awesome.
So what kind of gear do you have for a class like that? And just for some of the listeners out there, I'm asking questions that people might be wondering. I'm not asking questions that I'm actually like wondering about myself.
Oh,
How
come
much?
on.
What kind of gear would you take out to a class of 21 students? Just 5 guns, right? That's it.
Yes, and one of them doesn't work, at least.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I am firmly of the opinion that everybody needs a gun, and not just in the classroom setting. But yeah, everybody needs a gun in the classroom setting at the very least, because it's time spent handling the guns that is gonna pay off. One of the things that absolutely drives me up the wall is a student getting to the practical exam and picking up a gun and going, "Oh man, I never saw one of these before."
Oh.
I mean, did I
Mhm.
not go over this? Did you not have an hour and a half of handling time? I'm pretty sure you would have had a chance to get to it. I ask before handling time is over. Have you had a chance to handle a bolt, a pump, a semi, a brake, a lever? Yes? Okay, then we're going to move on. If you have not and you want more time with the guns, say that now, because the next time you see a gun is going to be in the middle of a test. And usually by the time I've done saying that, somebody will put up their hand and say, "Yeah, I want 5 more minutes. I want to get a look at this. I want to get a look at that." Or else, yeah, it's problematic to not have a student that has handled the gun. Axe and Prove does function on its own to guide you through making a gun safe, but that will only take you so far, because, as I'm sure some guns can't open unless you do something. So you have to find an action release and then the gun opens.
Pull the
And you
trigger.
cannot do axe and prove with a gun that cannot be opened.
It just pulled the
Just
trigger.
keep pulling the trigger.
Or pull the trigger. No, I've had that. And you know who I saw that? A guy with experience, because he knew that he could open it if he pulled the trigger.
He's not looking
And
over to notice you on the clipboard, like, marking
no,
something
you know
every time
what?
he does that.
It's kind of funny, because when he did it, he immediately stopped and he thought, "I wasn't supposed to do that." And he says, and I'm like, "Yeah, you weren't." I know that I knew I could open it like this, but that's not what we do in the class, isn't it, David? And I said, "Yeah, that is not what we do in this class." Yep.
Shouldn't really do it out in the field either, right? Is that thing empty or has it got a round in it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
you-
Let's pull the trigger and find out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
So yeah, everybody needs a gun. Everybody should have a stick, because if you don't remember, in the Canadian Firearms Safety Course, the last step in the action proof process is examine the bore, and that is taught one of two ways. You can either do a visual bore inspection, which means after you prove the gun safe, you've checked the ammunition is out of the gun, you observe the chamber, you verify the feeding path. You can look down the barrel, class, and that always gets me some looks. Or you just give them a stick to put down the barrel. So I have a cleaning rod on every table beside on every gun, because this is another thing that happens.
My
I'm going to
instructor was
accent.
not as that high class.
I want to accent proof this here bolt action rifle, David. Okay. Okay, the gun is empty, but did you really look? They close it and then they point the gun at their face with the action closed.
Closed, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's an auto fail.
Yeah.
That's okay. Class. Sorry, the test is done. You have pointed a closed gun at your face, and you must now. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a second. Okay. What else?
You got to get one of these, David.
What are we looking at?
That is.
that's TIG rod.
Welding TIG rod. You need.
Okay, I tried to find the ones at
aluminum.
Canadian Tire were too short. So the ones
Princess
at
Auto.
Princess Auto are long
Princess
enough.
Auto.
Yeah,
These are
Princess Auto.
36 inches, and that's perfect. That'll go down any barrel.
How sturdy are those? Are they like
Not
hard?
Depends on the ones you get. You can get aluminum, you can get nickel,
mild
you can
steel.
get
I need
mild
aluminum
steel.
ones because basically all I'm using right now are just
You can get
stock standard
stainless.
cleaning rods. No, stainless will mess up the inside of the
Aluminum. You can get aluminum,
Aluminum.
and you can fit 15 in this thing.
metal.
And then
Maybe
you
I'll
just
do
chuck
that.
that in your case.
Nice.
Maybe I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to lock. Everybody needs a trigger lock.
Trigger lock.
This is a core part of the class and a core part of firearm safety here in Canada. And this is funny because I've had people come from other jurisdictions like the UK or South Africa. That was a good one. Excuse me. They're like, yeah, this is the first time I've seen a trigger lock in my life, and I've had guns for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is the first time I've used a cable lock. What do you mean you can put a thing through the thing and it won't work the gun anymore? So yeah, everybody needs a lock. Everybody needs a stick. Everybody needs a gun, and everybody needs ammunition. Now, some instructors like to only use disabled rounds or shells because it is more. On theme, you can see that it is real ammunition, so they may be more careful with it. The problem is that it is consumable. This stuff does not last, especially lever action ammunition. It gets absolutely chewed up if you put it in and out of a magazine tube. So that's why I generally err with snap caps because they're not cheap, but they last longer than some disabled cartridges. And sometimes if I have the space and the time, I will actually put a sign next to each gun saying, this one is a pump, this one is a lever, this one is a bolt and a semi and a brake action. And that's just like, it's just keep putting it in front of their heads, keep reminding them of the same stuff over and over and over again. Yeah, it's repetitive, but repetition works. It's proven. If you just do it again and again and again, something is bound to stick.
Yeah, that's all. Those are all really good. Yeah, and then that's something that I've taken into my classes is a gun for every student, a cleaning rod, a trigger lock, or cable lock if it's a lever and it can't take the trigger lock. And getting more efficient with time because the course takes so long that you want to be efficient with the time, not only to make sure that they're getting good use out of it. If they're doing practical, they're like actually messing with guns and they're actually learning how to use them. But then also, testing, efficiency and testing is important. If you're testing with one kit, it takes a long time.
Yep, and if you run into that student that is going to sit there doing the same error over and over and over again, you've just basically stonewalled every other person waiting to be tested. So that's why you just need another pair of hands. That other pair of hands could keep things moving. And eventually, if you want to, like, it seems absurd to pay somebody $50 to show up for an hour's worth of work as an instructor. No, the time savings alone, and the quality of service that you will provide, just knocking out an hour out of somebody's 10-hour day. It's there. Pay that instructor $50 to just show up and test. I've done that for instructors. It's like, hey, do you need a hand with testing? He's like, yeah, show up. I'll throw you a 50. I'll throw you 100. I don't care. Just come in, do the test, and that person is out the door at 5 instead of 6:30. They're gonna be talking singing praise about you. You're gonna see people getting referred to you from that person. It's like, yeah, that guy that I did the class with, he didn't swear. He was using complete English sentences, and he didn't make me go get coffee. So I'm already ahead. Yeah,
coffee's nice too.
The coffee is
How do you
Coffee
handle
is
when
good, yeah.
when students fail? How do you handle that?
I don't. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you can retest. As a student, you are allowed to perform the test, written or practical, again
Mhm.
within 7 days of the initial class, but not on the same day. So you're not allowed to just do the test again
Okay.
on the same place. That is a service that is not mandatory for the instructor to provide, at least here in Alberta. I don't have to provide retest if I don't want to. Generally speaking, I will. I am lucky enough to be able to provide that because it's just an hour of my time usually, maybe less. Hopefully, if the person kind of perks up after failing, they kind of sit down, study up, and then come back with that nice fresh knowledge
Mhm.
in their heads. I have had situations where it's come back to bite me in the ass, though. But maybe I'll talk about it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll tell you the story about Robert. But Robert is a very special situation. Um, yeah, it's at the instructor's convenience. They have a week to do it, and you know what I will mention? Don't go smoke weed between the written and the practical.
Oh, in between. Oh, I see.
But you gotta be
Yeah,
relaxed.
yeah. See, that just happened to me last month for the very first time ever.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that was truly amazing. I'm in the middle of doing my practical exams. It was the guy that handed in the test last for the written, so he was gonna be the last one to be tested. And I say, "Oh yeah, come on in, buddy. Come on in. Yeah, just head over there to the corner of the classroom." Walks past me, and it's just like, right on my face. Oh, that is some dank stuff you got there, bud. Yeah. So I was literally in the middle of a sentence and I stopped talking and I said, just give me 1 second. And I turn around to my other instructor and I said, come here, other instructor, I got to talk to you. Yes, according to the Olympics, that is a performance enhancing drug. The first person to be disqualified from the Olympics was a guy that took a swing of beer in between a pistol competition in the 1900s. Anyways, is skipping ahead to what David had to see. Yeah, I pulled the other instructor aside. It's like, does that guy smell like weed? And he goes, oh yeah, he's reeking of it. Yeah. And did he smell like weed 30 minutes ago before we were done the practical? It's like, no, but the written is like, no, he just smoked. He just
Wow.
smoked. So yeah, I had to confront somebody and tell them, I believe that you're under the influence of drugs or alcohol and I can't let you stay.
Terrible.
Did he argue?
He did.
Wow.
Yeah. No, he didn't smoke. It was just in his car and he was sitting beside it.
Ah.
He was holding it for a friend. Yes.
And I was like, no, it's like, no, I have it for a back injury, but I wasn't smoking.
I was actually destroying it by burning it.
Yeah.
Disposing. Yes. Disposing.
Yeah.
I was disposing of it. Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
it was like, and the guy's like, yeah, look, can you make it like, no, I wasn't high. I'm not high. I wasn't smoking. It's like, I doesn't matter if you are or you aren't. I believe that you are under the influence. You didn't smell like weed 20 minutes ago. Now you do. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, but I wasn't smoking it. It's like, okay, so you admit that you were in a car with it and that you used marijuana to treat a back injury and that you didn't smell like weed before, but now you do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I told them, you can retest. You can go to a HIA to retest because I didn't feel like dealing with this guy. He actually never went back and did his retest.
Oh well.
How often do people fail?
All the time. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's character. You do it to everyone.
Yeah. No. And you make them walk right in front of the classroom too. Come here, I need to talk to you. No, I'm just kidding. It happens. It doesn't happen a lot, but I would say that it happens with some frequency, maybe once a month, maybe every
Okay.
other class. It is not usually the written because as instructors, we can choose to do the exam verbally. Like if you can tell the issue is not understanding of the material, but just reading the thing, be it a disability, a condition, English as a second language, or something. It's like, yeah, if you can sit down in front of them, somebody and say, hey, is this dangerous? And they go, yeah, obviously the knowledge is there, and it was there 10 minutes ago when they were writing the test. So you can use your judgment there. I've had people that do the written, and it's clearly an issue well past that level of understanding possibility. And it's like, yeah, sorry, you have to do this again, or even like, yeah, sorry, you have to do the class again because this is clearly not in here yet. Just take your time, go over the material, and do it again. It's the practical that catches a lot of people, and it's repeated mistakes. Like if you keep dropping your booger hook on the bang switch every other time you pick up the
Yeah.
gun, yeah, that's gonna destroy you. You start grabbing, and this is great. It's like, oh, what kind of ammunition does that firearm use? It's a shotgun. Okay, but what kind of ammunition does it use? Shotgun shells. Okay, which type of shotgun shells? Slugs. It's things that are in their mind, but they actually haven't made that connection. And so you go, okay, load it with the right ammunition. Oh, you said it's a shotgun and it uses 12 gauge ammunition. No, I just said shotgun and slugs. So I don't know. They just grab a 9mm and try to put it in there. And you're looking at them going, okay, clearly this entire 9 hours was maybe a little much. Take it down to those small units that you need to be sure are in your head, and just review and come back and try it again when it's a little bit more organized in your head. Because there is nothing quite like seeing somebody grab a 22 and try to put it in a 308 bolt action rifle, and you're going, yeah, I want to rip on my eyeballs.
Needs
I
his
really do.
his adapter.
Yeah.
One of those 12 gauge to 45 adapters.
Oh, well, you know what? I actually that reminds me of a situation that I had with another instructor. He was doing the restricted class, and he had a SIG P226. Now, does anybody off the top of the head remember what chamberings are available for a SIG P226?
Oh, I own one in a 9. That's about all I remember.
There's another one.
I don't.
It's a SIG branded chambering.
Oh, 357 SIG.
357 SIG. So this instructor was teaching the class with a SIG P226 that on the slide said 9mm, but on the barrel data stamp said 357 SIG. And I asked him, why are you doing this? Well, his explanation was, I want the student to understand that they got to look at the data stamp on the barrel, not the slide, because some guns can have interchangeable barrels, and you can change what kind of ammunition the gun is designed to use, which is valuable information that is not a part of the class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making it more complicated than it needs to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So he just opened himself up to that student going, that guy's trying to trick me.
Yeah.
And there's already enough tricks in cartridge naming that is fucking nonsense. Caliber in inches or millimeters, gauge.
Yeah.
Some gauges are calibers. And
then
then
Adriel, you need to tell me that the homework that we spent talking about black powder may be superfluous.
Black powder is still a thing.
It is 100% a thing. Is it an hour's worth of an 8-hour class that is meant to be basic firearms training?
What about
Probably not.
matchlock collectors and wheel lock aficionados?
I mean, at this rate, that is the only thing we're going to be able to own. So whatever. So
yeah, well, see, and how to load a cannon, and yeah.
I mean, I want a cannon. I almost bought a cannon. I got outbid, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. We were talking about at scale. So I mean, being in Calgary, maybe you don't deal with this. I know I have a buddy who's a PAL instructor, and he's had this happen a couple times. You book a course, and it doesn't meet because we mentioned your ideal number, your maximum number, but your minimum number. But how often do you, as doing it full time, ever have to cancel a course because it doesn't meet your minimum number? Because I mean, you got venue rental, like your room rental, and all that stuff there too.
Precisely. I've had to do it once in 3.5 years of teaching.
Okay.
Okay.
I am lucky, and I know that I am, in that for some reason or another, um, things have gone well for me in terms of customers and maintaining regular schedule, and people see that, and I guess that just attracts people, plus the reviews help, plus everything is always in place. I have never had to advertise, which I consider myself lucky for. I
Yeah.
know some people have been putting things out on Facebook, or they give Google $500 to put them at the top of the search results. um, that works. I don't know how well it does, but I know that would provide a return. I don't know how much of a return it will. But I've only had to cancel one course once, and it was a restricted course because I had nobody register for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I
I've
am
got
one of
surprisingly strong demand, so I added 3
yes,
restricted courses to my summer, and I'm running all of them.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. One thing that I do is if there is enough interested in one course but not the other, then at some point I'm just gonna cap the people registering for a single course, and then I will only take in people registering for both courses. Because I mean, if I've already made my money on day one, and you can also think about it in a more holistic point of view. It's like it's just income, even if the class is not full, even if it doesn't mean that I'm making money on that day. If I've got 30 people in day one and 6 in the other, it's fine.
Well, yeah,
Like
yeah. Your
there's
weekend's
gonna
paid for. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Your
they,
weekend's paid
that's
for. Yeah.
I should say that the only other time that I have to cancel a course, no, I actually never mind. I had to cancel my first 3 gun match because I had to put up a restricted course because that was the weekend after the handgun ban was announced.
Mm.
Uh, I had literally emails upon emails upon emails of people going, I need to get a restricted firearms license now. So I put up a class that weekend that was probably 8 people that were just like, yeah, let's go. We need that license now and see if we can get in before the cutoff. Okay, Kelly asks, are the fees regular? I would pay more to make sure a class happened to cover cost if attendance was low. Um, at least in Alberta, there is a guideline provided by the Hunters Association to instructors about how much you should be charging per person per class. Um, it is up to you if you want to charge more than that, and the market has settled on like kind of like 125 to $175 per class here in Alberta. Some businesses will charge the same for both classes. I do that. It's just a flat 150 per class plus taxes. Some businesses will do a combo. So if you do the non-restricted and the restricted, they'll do like instead of $300, it will be like 275 or 250. And that works. That works. And then there are some businesses that just don't run restricteds. They're like, nope, not worth it. Not worth my time. It's not something I'm interested in. It's not something I am comfortable doing. There are instructors that just aren't comfortable teaching even some basics units that they will complain. It's like, oh, I freaking hate teaching the ammo chapter, or I hate teaching the social responsibility chapter. I'm not comfortable teaching that kind of stuff, but I mean, it's part of the curriculum. You have to get through
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Do you think cost keeps people from signing up for classes? Like, I don't think so, but I'm asking your opinion.
Yes. There are some demographics that I mean, it is a big deal to drop $300 for some folk. It is,
If you're getting into this hobby, it's going to be expensive. Buying
not if
gun,
you're getting into this because of job. Not because if it's a job.
well,
Yeah.
yeah. If it's
And I get a
specifically
lot of
for a
those.
job, yes,
Yeah.
okay.
I get a lot of those, and then there's people that just need to get their licenses so they can go and apply to brings like commissioners,
Okay.
any kind of job that requires you to have a gun. Students, same thing. Students, I tried to get the Calgary Catholic Board of Education to teach this class. I talked to people in the Calgary Board of Education, Catholic Board of Education, and I just said, it's like, look, I'll charge you what a HIA says. Basic rate per student, and I will come in and do this class in my old high school, because that's how I approach it. It's like, look, I graduated from this high school. It has been my dream to teach in my old high school, and I believe that this is a valuable educational program that people should have as basic safety. It's like you do CPR courses, you do babysitter courses, you do driver's ed courses, you should do gun safety training as well.
Yeah.
Calgary Board of Education, Catholic Board said no after. I think it got it high enough on the pecking order because I had a lot of good feedback from the guy that I was talking with. And then it was one morning I got an email. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna talk to one more person, and then like 2 minutes later, or like 20 minutes later, I got another email. It's like, yeah, we're gonna pass. It's like it got to that point where somebody said, no way, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I got another question. You may not want to answer this because it might be taken away, but for other instructors who might be looking to do this at scale, because I know the venue where you actually do the course is a major chunk of what happens.
Yep.
Like how much that place is going to charge you for that room rental. What advice do you got for instructors looking to ramp up their instruction but still keep those venue costs down?
It's not advisable, but I know people that run these things out of their houses.
Right.
And I've had a couple of people tell me, like, yeah, no, I did it in a guy's basement. I did it in a guy's basement. I did it in his garage, you know, and that may not be the worst thing, you know, if you have a 2-car garage, insulate it, and you know, put a couple of heaters, and it's a classroom. It is.
Yeah.
If your basement is unfinished, put up drywall, put down some cheap laminate on the floor, and you've got a classroom. That is method one. The other one is Adriel. Adriel went the smart way, and he talked to a range and is like, hey, can I do it in your classroom, in your what is it called? Your not clubhouse. Can I do it in your clubhouse? You guys do everything basically. Like the club will do advertisement. The club will have a captive audience that has a vested interest in getting their license, especially if it's a range that has rentals. That's just it's like, oh yeah, they go and they shoot and they go, hey, we'll knock $10 off your course if you sign up for the class after you take a couple of guns out of the range. That it makes sense for a business like that to have an in-house instructor, or even just a guy like Adrian, a guy that comes in, does a course for them, that's 2 or 3 courses, friends and family of people that are already members know that the range is offering this, and that's that.
And the range can sell memberships too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the range can sell memberships, so there's an advantage there. Cabela's and some gun stores will host as well for free, because for them it's like, do you want to bring like 12 students here who are going to buy guns once they've got their PAL?
Yeah.
Come on in.
Well, and that's the thing. Like you mentioned the ranges and that, and range. Like I know Wapiti, we just gave them the space, but you mentioned the ranges that have rentals, and just my experience in seeing things from the sidelines, it seems like places that rent guns want a premium if you want to rent their space. Any space of theirs, they want a premium for it. Unfortunately,
that was my first gig as an instructor looking to make money off this. Is I very briefly worked for a range that will remain unnamed. The end result of that one set of classes that I taught there was an uncomfortable conversation with the business owner that was not happy with people failing, because then they wouldn't come back and get guns from him.
Yeah. Yeah, he wanted to just everyone past this period is just some ropes you gotta jump through.
Yeah. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. But in hindsight, it just seems to be very serendipitous, because that's what kickstarted me to try this out, because I was let go from this position and I was sitting at home collecting CERB thinking, hey, I've got the training. What am I going to do? So I threw together a website, I threw together a Facebook page, and I've been teaching every 2 weeks for the last 3.5 years, nonstop. And this is now all I do. Yeah. And then the last thing I'm going to mention for the venue is eventually you're going to need to rent a place. You're going to need to rent a place. And it's going to be obnoxious. The cost, I just tallied it up. I paid rental fees $17,000 last year, just in rental fees. With that money, can you make that money do something better? Eventually, my plan is to actually own a space and then become the space that gets rented out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that $17,000, that's just money getting thrown out into the wind if it's just on rental. But if it's an investment, yeah, make the money work.
Yeah, that's just paying someone else's bills at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, at some point you'll have to buy a space or lease a space. Yeah.
Nah, I'll buy it. I was thinking
Buy
about
it.
buying a house and just like a basement, like a basement suite that has an upstairs, and just rent out the upstairs and do my courses in the basement and the upstairs space for the downstairs. And it's
Cool.
cash neutral investment.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. We're at about an hour here. Why don't we get to the shilling your stuff? Where can people find out more about your courses?
I am the first person that pops up when you Google PAL course Calgary, Foothills Firearms Training. If you click on that, then the algorithm does something. I don't know what the algorithm is, but somebody said to mention that. And then I'm going to keep staying up on top of people. So yeah, Foothills Firearms Training. I'm on Facebook. I used to be on Reddit until Reddit got lame, and I'm no longer on Reddit. And so yeah, just you can call me. I actually answer the phone and I use complete sentences with proper English. Email is even better. I respond emails with complete English sentences with proper English. And yeah, I hold courses in Calgary and Cochrane and anywhere in between in the southern part of Alberta.
Nice.
Cool. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, Dave, for joining us for the start of the show and for the main topic, and kind of giving us a little bit more insight on how a person scales up a PAL course and the ins and outs on doing that, and what headaches might arise and little tips to progress it. We'll get into listener feedback. And I mean, there was a little bit on Facebook from last week with us getting zooked, which I will
Zucked.
Zooked.
I think you should say it's zucked.
Zucked, yeah. Actually, it turns out we got Sony'd.
Sony'd?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep. Sony Entertainment claimed a copyright strike on us on minute, what was it, like 23 to 24 of that episode, which I was sitting there bashing USPSA and talking about IPSC, and yeah, claiming some song. I disputed it. I haven't seen anything, so it looks like we won the dispute. But yeah, that's what happened last week on Facebook. Is Sony got a little happy with their copyright button.
How interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That is odd.
So that's what I see. What happened last week was, yeah, Sony just got a little trigger happy. But with that, we're gonna go into emails. And Adriel, do you mind taking Tony's email?
Oh, when do you guys take this? Because I'm doing something
I'll
just
do it.
further down.
Okay, so good evening, Slamfire crew. I recall Dave mentioning Tony writing in the third person perspective, and Tony is now wondering if the first or third person is preferred from the host perspective.
First, I hate the third. First.
First of all, Tony would like to congratulate himself for receiving his RPAL license. Wow.
Oh, congratulations.
To both of you. He was doing a time tracking on the CFE Discord, and the total time came to 23 days or 18 business days, including transit time back from RCMP, but not including transit time to RCMP.
That is impressive.
Mm-hmm. After 9 business days, the credit card on file was charged and the status was updated to initial review completed. Before that, the record was showing in his previous application, his initial PAL application from 2021. 1 week later, the application was processed, and it took the standard 1 week for the letter mail to go across the country from NB to AB. Also, have you seen the new PAL cards yet? They look and feel more secure than the old ones.
They look exactly like the Alberta driver's licenses.
Oh, okay.
If you do not have your RPAL and is looking for the upgrade, Tony would encourage you to do it now, especially if your PAL is expiring. If you are near Calgary, Dave at Foothills Firearms Training will take good care of you. And if you're in the Edmonton area, Adriel may have some suggestions. A lot of shameless plugging going here. I think Tony would need to explain himself to everyone with his comment, USPSA is cooler than IPSC, and may the rant begin. As a newer shooter, USPSA and Steel Challenge under USPSA are just no BS. You have to step to the line, be safe, and shoot. Maybe we are too distanced here to experience the USPSA drama. There's no gatekeeping black badge, which wasn't ready for the first year of PCC Nationals and still won't be ready for the second year of PCC Nationals. By Tony's calculations, even if he completes his black badge in mid-April with a borrowed pistol, which is the earliest they are offered for 2024, he would still not be able to compete in the AB PCC provincials for 2024. Now he needs to scramble to find at least a PCC match in the year so his black badge certification does not expire due to inactivity. On top of all that, he doesn't think PCC black badge would even be available till midsummer 2024, which is, in his opinion, is way too late. In his opinion, the PCC only competitors are treated as second-class citizens at the moment, which is too bad. If you're a master levels PCC shooter who only took a PCC black badge because of the ongoing freeze, what happens after the thaw? Spend the time and money, which is no small amount, to take the black bag course again. Inhale and exhale.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in because I know he changes topics here. USPSA in Canada? Yes. Okay, I understand. USPSA in Canada versus IPSC Canada, yes. But when you're trying to take USPSA and treat it like your local IPSC, where you do care about classification and all that, yeah, no. IPSC Canada, yes, black badge aside, IPSC Canada has a much better system, and they're actually on top of stuff. Prime example, tonight I was looking at USPSA, and we've paid dues, but oh look, there's matches, and they're saying they're unpaid for. So we were sending them confirmation.
I think
like
all the shit and abuse that the PCC guys get is well deserved.
You mean I can't compete with this?
Well, you could.
well, I mean, who's saying you can't?
It's a PCC. See?
Yeah. Yeah. Tony, my biggest issue is with black badge, and you know when I had to deal with it, that was same thing. Like with the black badge, Canada is one of the only countries that does require a black badge for IPSC, and yeah, no, the way that it is I like the idea, the way that it is rolled out in Canada, and I mean, if you want to get into a match, yeah, you got to be hot fingers to get into a match. So yeah, no, the black badge system doesn't work in my opinion.
It works for some things. I think you would have a different set of problems without the black badge. The different set of problems would be you would have people show up to a match, get disqualified immediately, have a shitty time, and be like, man, these guys are assholes, and then just leave.
But okay, but here's a prime example: 3-gun. Like, yes, we see DQs in 3-gun, but on the same token, with 3-gun, there's no black badge or anything. It's not like rampant, like 50% DQs and that. We tell people, like, hey, your first match, we're going to run through your stuff. Same thing as USPSA. First time shooting USPSA, we take them aside. Okay, these are the things you need to focus on. Please, don't try to win the match. Get through it safe. Get the feel for it.
I think if 3-gun had more demand, it would be harder to offer that kind of service to every single shooter. And
what's the size of your matches, Adriel?
Which ones, Sherwood Park or Chaz? Because the Chaz ones can be 40 to 70 people. The Sherwood Park ones are like 12.
Would you be able to do that?
It's very easy.
Can you do that for a new person showing up at the 12-person match? Yes. Can you do what you just described for a 70-person match when there is 10 new people?
No. But what I am saying, like, going to matches with like 400 shooters, and there are new shooters who get into that match and everything as well. You don't see an egregious amount of DQs in a match that doesn't require a black badge course or any kind of course before you go into it versus these matches that you do. So does the black badge course do what it aims to do? No, it doesn't. I've seen numerous people come out of black badge DQ, just same thing as I've seen numerous people come into like a 3-gun match or a USPSA match and DQ. And
that would be an interesting thing to figure out. What's the DQ rate for new shooters who have gone through a black badge at an IPSC match versus shooters who go to the 3-gun match and don't take
like I said, black badge in theory, great idea. In practice, I don't think the numbers are there. I think it's a useless, arbitrary course that does not attain what they hope to attain.
You might be right.
Right? Like
they don't do it in the States. They don't.
It's just shooting over Western North America, looking at all sorts of matches, and a very select few of them have been black badge. And I look at the DQs, and I don't see an appreciable difference.
Mm-hmm. And they don't do it in Europe. They don't do it in Australia. There's black badges, Canada, and there's one other country.
I think there's a couple other that have like a black badge-esque course, but it's very few and far between. There's only a couple or a few that do it. You
know the course that I would really agree with you on is the ATT course that they do in Ontario, or they did, and they still some clubs still do.
Oh, the qual where you have it's like an actual.
They do a qualification and a range day for some shooting ranges in Ontario for the restricted. You need to prove a certain amount of capability.
Yes.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Ontario's still doing that. Yeah.
So I buy a restricted handgun when you could. You go and they were going to say, no, you first have to prove you can shoot it, or what?
Well, no. The way they do it is because Ontario said, oh, no, you have to be a member of the club. Mm-hmm. So the club started saying, okay, to be a member of the club, you need to be able to shoot at this level. So in essence, that was now your ATT course, because in order to become a member of that club, you need to be shooting at that level.
8-inch square.
And this person is commenting.
20 rounds all in. Is there a time limit?
At 25 meters, 20 rounds. So that's the accuracy requirement you need to do in order to get that ATT.
Look what I have.
No time limit.
Square.
But that's like
so you have to put 20 rounds into the circle at 25 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that.
I think there's a ton of people that can't do that, and yeah, I don't know. I'd have to. I don't know if I could just. I couldn't go up there.
Can I use a 22 shooting shorts? Can I use a revolver on single action?
Not sure. This is some Ontario bullshit. I don't care about because it's some bullshit that doesn't affect me. But we have people commenting on the Facebook about the requirements around it. Some clubs don't require it anymore. This used to be something that was required.
The two Ontario outdoor clubs that I joined, it wasn't about accuracy. They just wanted you had to collect signatures, so you had to show up and shoot your restricted and show that you safely handled it, but it wasn't about. And you followed their certain safety handling rules, but it wasn't about accuracy. It was just that
they should standardize
you're unboxing it in the correct areas, you're handling it in the correct areas, you're moving it around in the correct areas, and that's it. And you're
that's your typical orientation, but there
it
are
wasn't
some
about
clubs
you need to make 20 shots from at a
thing is, Kelly does them in order to get. Kelly does those courses at their range in order to get a membership. Now, like Sporting Rifles confirming no club membership required in Ontario anymore, but certain individual clubs started taking that because Ontario, with such the influx of people wanting to become members, it turned out to be apparently a good system for them that, okay, only shooters of certain calibers can become members, and they have to go through this proving your ability to become a member.
You know what they should do?
If as a business they want to set a barrier for entry, that's their business.
Well, yeah, that's their prerogative, whether we agree with it or not. But
totally silly. They should have that, maybe like the safe handling, for example. They should set in the federal law system, maybe in a class that you can take, where you use some simple abbreviations to show that the gun is empty and show that the gun has no ammunition in it. And maybe they could teach that and have some instructors that would teach that rather than doing it like on a club by club basis.
Are you talking like a basic firearms safety course?
You could
That
you
no,
could
no,
even
no, that
teach
ain't
people-
gonna, that's not gonna fly.
you could teach them maybe like an acts in proof to show that the gun's empty. Maybe you could do something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing crazy.
Wait a minute, no. You want people to handle guns under supervision before they can do that on their own?
And maybe give them a license once you're like, okay, we're pretty sure this person's cool. Maybe give them a license for it. Maybe a card that says yeah, this person's cool.
All right, guys, we are over 2 hours,
We'll
and
move
this
along.
is becoming a dead horse. So, Mo, do you want to continue with the inhale and exhale?
Yeah, I'll finish the final chapters of his letter. Last for tonight is a streaming suggestion. Since SFR suffered the Zuck last week on air, I'm not sure how firearm friendly Twitch is, but I made some switching on Twitch only.
I have a Twitch account.
The frequenters would all tune into the same place every week, and we don't have to think about if we are streaming on YouTube this week or not. The Twitch app offers background play, which is a significant advantage over Facebook, in my opinion. Thanks to the host who read the section with a very angry Chinese voice. Good night. Best regards, Tony.
It's Tony.
See, that's what I wanted to hear.
Tony.
Yeah.
None of us are going to read that in an angry Chinese.
No,
voice.
not a chance. Not touching that with the 10-foot pole. I don't think we need to be Twitch only. Like, we got an audience that probably doesn't even know what Twitch is.
I don't know what Twitch is.
We have a host that doesn't know what Twitch is.
I don't know what Discord is. So there you go.
We'll just get the Bing chilling audience on Twitch. That's it.
Yeah, I think it works as it is. All right. Well, thank you, Tony, for sending that email. And if you want, send us an email and have it read on the air. Send us an email at slamfireradio@gmail.com. And I will pull this up, but we have some YouTube comments from last week. That's gonna be all Adriel.
Adriel?
I'm working on the response.
Okay. So first two comments are from Tony on last week's episode. No more solo drive-through. That's with the van, or your new right-hand drive. Your right-hand drive replacement.
Oh, I make my kid order.
Actually, both his comments are in reply to that. 2-lane overtake would be challenging, especially behind a large vehicle.
Nah, it's fine. Everything's fine, man. The weirdest thing is when I had my 12-year-old in the passenger seat and people were like, "Is that a 12-year-old just driving that car?" Keep my hands really low.
Then next couple comments are from Eddie on last week's episode. Mo could be off doing both if he's kite surfing.
Yep.
And then the Christensen Arms sub MOA guarantee at 50 yards is much better than the Springfield 2020 1-inch guarantee. I'd like to see if a factory sub MOA guarantee at 100 yards. I've seen 1022s with a new barrel do it using match ammo. That would be very impressive to see a mass-produced rifle do that, for sure.
How much of a budget can you have? Because
mass-produced, so not custom, mass-produced.
Sub MOA?
Yeah, so
Rimfire.
Christensen Arms had a sub
Rimfire?
MOA guarantee on 22 long and at 100, and yeah, he's asking for factory sub MOA guarantee at 100 on 22 long.
You could probably do it, but at 100 there's more variables.
Very much so, yeah.
I mean, maybe if they put like a weather disclaimer, this has to be in a controlled
Perfect
environment, 25 degrees
in a vacuum.
In a vacuum.
climate controlled environment, air
Yeah.
conditioning.
Speaking of 1022s, Don Dace has a comment on the first look at Grey Birch Le Chassis Takedown 1022. Any issues with holding zero using this chassis?
Don't get me
Adriel?
started on Grey Birch.
I don't know. That's a long time ago. I
Yeah.
reviewed guns and they're gone.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so that is it for our YouTube comments. I haven't seen much for Instagram. We've kind of more or less kept up with Facebook, I think, and the live stream.
Yep.
Discord, there's stuff going on there. Go join our Discord. And we'll get into what people bought from our Cabela's link on January, February. And is this just Cabela's or is this Cabela's and Brownells?
Oh, it's just Cabela's. You're
Just
right.
Cabela's. Okay.
I can add the other ones. Just take your time reading those.
Okay. So the people who bought Cabela's in 2024 up till now, so we got 6 boxes of PMC bronze centerfire. That's 223. It's good. That's basically become my burner match ammo. Good job. 5 boxes of American Eagle centerfire. Was that you, Mo?
No.
No, you ordered from Tenda, but
Yeah.
we have a Garmin ice fishing transducer. Nice. And then a Savage Mark II bolt action.
That was my first Bolty 22, I think.
Yeah? Nice. And if you want your purchases
Brownells?
listed. Oh, we got some Brownells. Oh, we have some Brownells.
We got some Brownells on here. Magpul M-Lock, offset light and mount, EXD Engineering vertical reticle instrument, Sons of Liberty Gunworks AR-15 front sight detent, Magpul AFG2, Colt A4 handguard cap steel black .750, Sons of Liberty Gunworks AR-15 front sight post. Someone got some parts for an AR-15 through this. Holy Loctite. Midwest Industries AR wrench, Brownells 1022 bolt assembly, Aero Precision AR-15 barrel nut, Hogue Ruger 1022 barrel stock. Some more Brownells AR-15 stuff, and a Volkortsen 1022 extended bolt. And there's a couple of things in here that we don't have names for that might be on Brownells somewhere.
You know what's funny is a lot of that stuff sounds like a bunch of guys getting ready for a match in the U.S. I'm gonna have to ask.
I just did a
Brownells
Brownells order. I wish I remember the code from here.
It's just go to our website and click the link. There's no code.
Youth AR.
Yeah.
And what else we got here that didn't have a name but has a SKU? More 1022, an ER shot barrel.
Okay. Yeah. Because I did tell the guys they were buying some stuff for the match down here, and I said, "Hey, go to the website, click that link."
1022 BX.
Nice.
Oh, they should not have bought that in the US. Those can be found here for like $90.
They're helping us out.
Oh, that's
the Brownells upper receiver, and I think I missed one of them here. But yeah, it looks like some people kitted out some AR-15s and
some 1022s. Nice.
Yep.
All right, and if you want to support the show, you can go to our website and click links. We got links for Cabela's and Brownells, and it won't cost you anything more, but we'll get a little kickback when you do. And send thanks to our supporters on Patreon and Player, and you can go to those platforms and support us there as well. And we already mentioned, if you want to email the show, send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com, and we'll get to the shout-outs. Idril, how about you?
Yeah, all the people who came by the booth at the gun show and bought stuff, or at least entertained my kid and let him do his sales pitch and grind him a little bit. Very much appreciated.
How do you find it? Did he like it?
He loved it. But he's into that. He likes grinding. He likes like pitching and that kind of thing. So he was like, when there was no one to talk to, he was like, "This is so boring." But like when he actually got to pitch to people, loved it.
Mo, any shout-outs?
Yeah, a few. So to the CCFR for their best day ever contest, It closes on the 10th, and it's a pretty cool contest because you can win $10,000 of shopping spree at 2 different gun stores. So
Okay.
definitely check that out on their website. Shout out to the match director Josh at the Larner Deer match because he got me in last minute, and to my friend Mardik for his good company at the matches. So that's it for me.
All right. Dave, how about you? You got any shout outs
Can I shout myself out?
or recommendations?
Pro Line Shooters in Calgary. Go there. They've got great stuff there all the time. And I want to shout out the Calgary Shooting Center. They tried to get me a brand, and they couldn't. That's why I had to go buy it from whatever the other place. But Max will try. He definitely tried. It's just the supplier diddled him pretty hard. So
Awesome. Well, I have nothing for this week. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and sign off. So go join our Discord server. Watch us on Facebook, YouTube, Player. Join the CCFR, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Good night.
Later, everyone.
All right.
adios.